guys, welcome to the show. Everybody out there, our family and friends, we want to welcome Chris Thorp, head of U.S. field sales from Sonos. We're absolutely flattered to have Chris on the show. Chris, if you want to just give a brief introduction, maybe how long you've been there, and we're really interested in the culture at Sonos, how it is to work at Sonos.
Awesome. Thank you, and I appreciate you guys having me on. I'm excited to talk with you guys today.
Welcome.
So I've been here since 2010, so I'm going on 7.5 years now with Sonos. From what I was told back in the day, I was employee 175, so I've been here and seen a lot with this organization over the past 7.5 years. A little bit about myself. I've been in the industry for about 21 years now. Started in retail here in the U.S. in a retailer called Ultimate Electronics, where I was a general manager of stores for them. Moved on to Magnolia with Best Buy for a couple of years when that business opened up, and then worked for a rep firm for a couple of years prior to starting work here at Sonos. So seen a little bit of everything in the industry so far.
And how many employees there is in Sonos right now? Because you said you were 171 or 175. How many?
There's approximately 1,300, I believe, at the moment. So
whoa.
Yeah, we've grown a little bit.
Okay, good.
And that growth began in 2004, Chris, with that prototype that was brought there, and it cleaned up. It got the big award at the show, CES 2004.
Yeah.
And we've seen that 14 years of innovation from Sonos. We're big fans of it here in the UK. Can you give us maybe a brief history on the Sonos product lineup and how it's evolved, and then maybe just fill us in with what's currently available to homeowners?
Sure. Yeah, as you mentioned, in 2004 is when we introduced the first Sonos system to the world. And back then we were highly convinced that within 5 years, everybody in the world would be streaming music and will be playing music all over our networks all throughout our homes. Unfortunately, it took a little bit longer than 5 years for everyone to be streaming music from everywhere, but here we are today, and it's finally become a reality. Since then, we started off with a single player that was an amplifier that connected to a set of speakers or could connect to your existing audio system. We've evolved that product into two now, where we have a separate amplifier to power existing or legacy speakers, and a separate box that will connect to an audio receiver to play music through that. Our most popular speakers are all-in-one. Our popular way to play Sonos are all-in-one speakers, which we have 4 different types of speakers, all the way from our mini but mighty Sonos One, which is the small speaker, smallest in our assortment. Then moving to the Play 3, which is 3 drivers, a little bit medium size. And then we have our Play 5, which is our ultimate speaker, ultimate sounding speaker. Just recently, prior to the holiday, we also really set the world on fire with the introduction of the new Sonos One. Sonos One is our speaker that has Alexa voice integration built in. Not only does it have Alexa built in, and we believe it to be the best sounding smart speaker out there, but it's also the start of a platform for us, in which we've announced that at some point this upcoming year, we're also going to add Google Home to that platform and give our customers the ability to play music via Apple's AirPlay 2. So we're building a platform, and this is just the start with the Sonos One. Beyond our all-in-one speakers, we have 2 home theater style speakers. One is our Play Bar, which is designed for the customer that would like to mount their TV on the wall. Sits great underneath the TV there. Or our Play Base, which is really oriented towards somebody that has a TV on a stand or puts it on their furniture, where the television itself is right on top of the Play Base. And then to complement that, we have our sub, which as you see is right below. Our subwoofer is an amazing piece of audio. It's 2 force-canceling drivers that aim at each other and create an amazing amount of bass on a small cabinet design.
Yeah, I tell you what, that subwoofer is just a killer. I love coupling my Play 5s up with my Sonos sub, and it just sounds amazing. I think my neighbors in my building here really get tired of hearing me jam. Hopefully they'll want to
Mine
compete
too.
soon
Mine
by
too.
their own. Oh yeah.
We love it too. I mean, when we first heard that subwoofer, we were just amazed by what it could do, and especially at its price point. I think it really outpunches its weight class in that category.
You know, and it's wireless, and you can place it anywhere in the house, or anywhere in that room that you're wanting to couple it with something. I find that very, very user friendly. And also, whenever it couples across different stages, like I use it here with my Play 5s, but also with like the Sonos soundbar, which we just move a tremendous amount of that product, and clients just love the coupling of those two devices. It's just clean and simple and sleek and easy to use. Love that product.
Thank you. Well, love to hear it. From what I know, it's the #1 selling subwoofer in the industry of all time.
Wow.
Good job.
Pretty amazing, amazing fact.
Chris, did JJ told you that he loves Sonos?
I think he mentioned
I like Sonos, and I was sharing with you earlier, it was really challenging for me to have a new company come into my space like Sonos and have me really challenge me to revisit how I was going to do distributed audio. And by some twisting of the arm, I finally fell into the fold, because it is such a revolutionary product because of the experience that it creates with the end user. The ease of use, access anywhere as long as you're within the network, just makes it so simple for whole house audio control, and then combined with the quality, fantastic. Let me ask you along those lines, one of my questions for you is, what's your favorite feature about that Sonos?
I would say one of my favorite things that we've ever created is our TruePlay tuning, which is the ability to calibrate any speaker in your home using an iOS device. What we all know is that depending on the home environment, every room is going to sound different. A speaker is going to sound different in every room. It's going to sound different depending on where you place the speaker. All sorts of environmental factors are going to change the sound quality of that. So really we had two options. Option one was change everybody's home, or option two was make the speaker sound great in their home. And we accomplished that with TruePlay tuning, and I find it to be just an amazing technology, whereas you can really place a speaker in a not so ideal location and make it sound amazing. I'll give you an example of my own home. My kitchen, my Play 3 speaker is above my kitchen cabinets, behind crown molding, out of sight, out of mind, and really not an ideal location. But after I TruePlayed the speaker, it sounds amazing, even though it's in a bad spot.
You know what is my favorite feature of Sonos?
What's that?
The party mode.
The party mode, yes.
The party mode. I cannot live without this. The party mode. I just link all the Sonos in the room. You know what? Even if I'm not in the room,
sure.
even when my kids are not here, I also want music in my kids' bedroom. It makes me feel happy, maybe safe. I don't know, to have music absolutely everywhere in the house. The party mode. If one day you just remove this feature, I cannot.
You're done?
No, I'm done.
Can you brief us on the party mode, Chris?
So, sure. Party mode is essentially ability to be able to link every single room together to be able to play the same song throughout your home. Now, not only can you play the same song throughout your home, you have individual volume control of every room. And once you set each room to the desired sound, you still have master volume control where you can move it up and down. So if you start off, say you're having a cocktail party and you start off with a couple people, you can start with every room, balanced and set at a lower volume. But as the room fills up and more people join you, you can increase the volume as the night goes and really adjust the whole space with just very simple control.
You know who doesn't like the party mode?
Who's that?
JJ's neighbors.
I mean, what I love about being in party mode is that you can use the volume on the side of your phone,
sure,
which is killer. I mean, it just makes it so easy. It's like a no-look volume.
Yeah. If I could share, I've got another. If I had a close second place to my favorite features, there's one that I just find fascinating, which is the way that we learn your TV's remote control with your play bar. right? Or play bass. It sounds like it's just a, you know, no big deal type of deal. But the cool thing about our play bass is, or either one of our home theater speakers, is that you can aim your TV's remote control at it, hit the volume up button once, and if we've got the code in there, it'll just understand which remote it's using. If the code is not in there, it asks you to hit the volume up, volume down, and mute. It then learns the code, beams it to the cloud, and now the next person that comes along with that product has got the code in the system because you, our users, have programmed it for us.
Chris Gamble, didn't you have a statistic last time about how many people do hang their TV and how many don't?
Yes, it's 70% of people worldwide actually have their TVs on a stand versus on the wall. So it depends on which country you're in, but if in the U.S., people look at me with a little shock saying, oh, everyone's got on the wall. I said, this is bigger than just us, and not everybody in the world sits there, hangs their TV on the wall.
One more feature that I want to talk about that I really love is the alarm clock feature.
Sure.
Especially for my daughters. They love being able to pre-select the type of music that they want to wake up at, set different alarms for different days and different tempos and styles of music.
Yeah, and many people have told us, about that, in the fact that their children are waking up happier versus the traditional alarm clock. They're slowly waking up to the music they like, and they're finding that everybody in the home is happier because of it.
It's the beatbox of today.
I think that has a lot to do with the culture. It seems like you guys are creating the industry instead of trying to follow it or have a competition or look to see who's doing what. I've been listening to a lot of Simon Sinek, and he calls it the finite against the infinite game. And you guys seem to be infinite. You're not looking to win. You're just looking to out-survive everybody. So, right?
It's a way to look at it. I think eternally, if you ask us, we're looking to fill every home with music, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's change the silent homes to soulful homes, ones with music in them, because we all know that it makes people happier when you've got music in them.
But the creativity, I'm saying, you're not chasing anybody to make anything happen. You guys are actually making it happen. Does that come from end user feedback? Is that you guys have just unbelievable engineers?
Yeah, it comes from a little of both. It started with a visionary strategy from our founders and a philosophy about what great music and listening to music at your home should be. And then we take a lot of feedback from our end users and try to design the best product with the best user experience possible.
Chris, I always reference to Sonos when I'm speaking to customers as a great aggregator for all the subscription music services you have, and also for radio as well. There's some recent advertising of Sonos that's showing all the different music services available. I think the figure was around 80, if I'm
worldwide,
not mistaken.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you have any figures on, what's the most popular? I'm assuming it's Spotify. In our house, we've got 3 services attached to it. Do you know any information about what people are preferring for their streaming services?
Yeah, I can't give out a specific number, but I can tell you it does follow the global trend where Spotify is the current king of the hill, followed closely by Apple and Google and Amazon are also nipping on everyone's heels. In the U.S., Pandora is a highly popular service also, but as we know, that's not a global service at this point. So those are the main ones.
Is there a more global vision at Sonos than just sharing audio? Without revealing any top secret strategy, now that you have a voice assistant into your speakers, is it something that you talk at Sonos to have an ecosystem that is just more than speakers?
We got a lot of room to grow yet with audio, so we're highly focused on music and filling every home with music. So that's our focus. We're setting an intent to be the sound platform for the connected home. So we've introduced our endorsed partner program, or Works with Sonos program. We're allowing other third parties to develop applications and software to be able to work with our system. We're going to start to see in the next coming years this play out where you may be able to use your doorbell to play through Sonos, or hypothetically your Nest your smoke detector is going off in a bedroom. The Sonos speakers may be able to tell you which room that smoke detector is going off in. These are all different ways in which we could leverage the speakers throughout your home in a way to connect it.
Chris, let me ask you, Can you relive the moment that you realized that Sonos was an absolute industry disruptor? I mean,
Yeah.
it changed everything.
I think there's been a number of moments in my career with Sonos where I felt that, but the one that probably sticks out to me the most is, I got to be the person that introduced our play bar to most of the industry at CES more than 5 years ago. And so as every person from free publications to the buyers for all major retailers and all these different people were paraded into the room, and I got to give them a little 10-minute pitch on Playbar and then show them what true wireless Dolby Digital 5.1 looks like. That was a moment where I could see on their face that they realized that we are going to seriously disrupt the industry that was dominated by 17-inch black boxes.
I've noticed recently, Chris, that you've been wowing customers with some fantastic offers on price. You know, you did some great offers leading up to Christmas in the UK, and currently there's an offer on the Sonos One, 2 speakers, £349 in the UK. Tell us about that. Is there a competition heating up? Is there a battle on the horizon with some other speakers?
It's an interesting time, right? Interesting time in our industry with smart speakers with the likes of Amazon Alexa, Google Home, and now Apple HomePod hitting the market. There's a lot of interest right now in the smart speaker category. And, as we are all well aware that within the next couple days, there'll be new entrants to the market with the Apple HomePod. And we looked at this as an opportunity to say, hey, look, we're going to give you an option here to get 2 of our Sonos One speakers, so you can create a stereo pair or put one in one room and one in the next, and give you the ability to have access to 80 music services, plus a platform that's going to be voice agnostic, which is unique to our platforms.
Just to stay on this pricing that you are making on your Sonos, there is no subscription, okay? When you buy a Sonos, there's no subscription to Sonos. You do not have any recurring revenue. The only subscription that people will pay is the subscription for the music service.
If they choose to pay for music services, there are
Yes.
many free music services out there also.
How long did it take you to create Sonos to be a household name? And then did you ever think it wasn't going to work out?
No, tough to pinpoint the time when we became, a name in the lexicon of everyone's mind. I would say it's probably close to 2012 when we launched the Sonos or the Play One, as the Play One brought us into a much wider market at the $199 price point than we've been before, and exposed us to a lot of new households. I never for a minute thought it wouldn't work out, because I knew that we were far out ahead of everyone when it came to the technology to be able to do what we did. We also, we're leading as far as the innovation in the space. Plus, we candidly own more patents on the technology than anyone in the industry. I'm not sure if you've read recently, but we were recently rated the #2 most valuable patent portfolio in the consumer electronics industry.
No surprise.
My query on the Play One, Chris, I'm really hoping that that's still going to stick around for a long time. We love the product. We see it as a great entry to a Sonos sound system for your home. The Sonos One's not going to affect the timeline for the Play One. We're still going to stick around, yeah.
We think there's absolutely a place for both of those speakers. As we are all well aware, just even over the holiday, there was something like 6 million of these little dots and pucks that were sold out there. So there's many homes that already have the voice control capability, and Play One would benefit from that.
Let me ask you this, Chris. What are some of the most interesting ways that you've seen Sonos applied? So, thinking outside the box, have you seen anything out there that, we might want to add to our portfolio of creating experiences for our clients?
It's a great question. It's a little bit of a nuanced one right now. As Sonos, the system is really designed for the home environment at this point. However, as we know, it's more and more demand out there for commercial applications. So you certainly can can find Sonos in restaurants all over the world and stuff, but at this point, it's not an area where we've targeted expand into at the moment.
But I see a lot of Sonos into shop, you know,
Yeah.
because it's easy. It's an easy way for people to change music. Everyone can change music easily.
I think because it's app driven, it's very easy for the staff to maybe have it on the same terminal as the point of sale. We've seen people run a tablet for collecting payments, and it's controlling music, lights, and security. So we've done installations where we've not hesitated to specify Sonos in a bar,
Sure.
reception area, things like that. So
And we have we do support 6 commercial music services also. So it does give that person that wants to put in a commercial environment, gives them access to a music service to be able to play that. Whereas you guys all know that a individual user account is not allowed to be used in a commercial environment.
We've used those commercial streaming services in several of the hotels that we've worked with, applying the Sonos Connects, our amplifiers, and some restaurants as well. You put it on the PC in the back, and it's just so easy to use. Make a playlist, and you're ready to go for the day.
So yeah, we've seen it. We've seen Sonos installed, and we've got a hotel that we did a test with. Certainly seen it on yachts and stuff like that, and anywhere where you can imagine having sound, Sonos is typically found.
Yeah, the party mode in the yacht. That's good.
Yeah, absolutely.
you've got it on your yacht, Bruno, yeah?
Yeah, I have it right now. Yeah, it's in the bathroom.
Gassing up.
You know, Chris, there is a before Sonos and an after Sonos. Before Sonos, I was not listening to music as often as I wanted. We all want to listen to music, but we have the music system into one room and installed in the other room. And if we want to listen music in all the house, we have to turn on the volume very loud. I was not listening to music as often as I wanted. And since I discovered Sonos, I'm listening music every day.
What's the after Sonos? 6 foot under, Bruno?
Virtual reality, music into virtual reality, something like this. I don't know. Maybe.
No, to your point, it's a wonderful place to work at because you're bringing happiness to people's homes. Music makes people's homes happier. I don't know if you guys had heard, but we proved this scientifically back in 2016. We ran a test where we took 30 households in which we placed cameras, and we actually placed activity monitors on people's wrists and the homes for a 2-week span of time. In week 1, we had these homes without any music in it at all. Week 2, we added the music to it to then see what changed in their environment. We found that people were spending quite a bit more time together. People were eating dinner together more often. In fact, believe it or not, people thought their food tasted better when they had music in their home. Yes.
Wow.
And
all these things were proven scientifically that music makes your home happier.
does it raise also the numbers of birth?
Yeah, part of the study also proved that people had more sex when they had Sonos in the house.
It took 9 months to find out, but you figured it out.
Alexa, play Barry White.
Jesus.
You can do that now, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
With the voice control, Chris, you've really made it so easy now to access music in every room, any album, artist, and playlist. Where's it going to stop with voice control? You're going to become an aggregator, I guess, for that. You touched on that
Sure.
in the same way that you've done with streaming services. There's a whole host of voice platforms available.
Yeah.
And we'll hear soon about you launching another.
We're certainly we are in the early days of voice communication, voice platforms at this point. I would say if using a baseball analogy, we're probably in the second inning of the game, right? Where we've got a long way to go to see where this all goes. And That's why we believe wholeheartedly that in creating this platform, that we're not going to lock somebody into one ecosystem, and we're going to allow them to make a choice between be able to use whatever service they feel more comfortable with. If they want to order dog food through Amazon, they can use one command. If they want to find out what the weather is tomorrow, they can use a different service through that. And if they want to check whatever is on their calendar tomorrow, they can potentially use a third. And that's just the start. We don't know where this goes. Certainly can see some great opportunities to leverage voice when it comes to music, and maybe helping us find new music is another frontier with this that yet to be fully sought out and explored. So we'll wait and see where this goes.
I think that says a lot about Sonos, where they want to play with everybody. I know another company like that called Lutron. You might be familiar with that.
Very cool.
But it does speak volumes for those kind of manufacturers that are willing to get in the sandbox with everybody instead of the other brands we may have mentioned earlier and said, no, we're going to keep it to ourselves. And I bet you that food doesn't taste as good coming from another product, or people don't talk as much coming from other products.
Sure. It's a very deliberate decision. If you, we've been asked, like, why doesn't Sonos create their own music service, or even buy a music service, or why don't we charge the music services for all the access to our users? When you get in that space, then you start picking and choosing winners, and that's not the game we're in. We want to create a platform that is ubiquitous and open to all the different partners out there to be able to, play their content.
I think staying in your own lane is an awesome decision, and the quarterback is the quarterback, and that's what you guys do, and you're playing with everybody, and you're getting down the field, and it's just really, really cool.
Cool. I appreciate you saying that. It's an interesting space. I mean, I guess if you would ask me, one of my biggest surprises, if you would have asked me 7 years ago, if 7 years down the road, our chief competition will be Google, Apple, and Amazon, I would be I'd be really shocked at that point to say that that's who we're competing with and who we're in the same conversation with.
With the sound quality, and I don't know if I guess you're competing in a way, but you're providing a bigger value because you're not, again, limiting yourself to a certain voice.
Right. Yeah.
To the homeowner, they are on the same shelf. That's the competition the consumer buys.
Yeah.
Just sees the price tag and the speaker. We've recently had customers favor another brand, and we have to respect that decision. But where we're having a great advantage now is having the voice built in and the Alexa skill, to utilize existing voice assistants you've bought and bring voice control to speakers that they may have owned for several years, and that's a real that's such a huge benefit. And we've actually targeted customers and said, you purchased these from us several years ago. We'd love to introduce you to voice control of it. And when the skill became available, it was great to revisit, catch up with clients, and give them these inexpensive assistants, and yet again see that joy in their face of a new feature. To that investment they made in an audio system a long time ago is still reaping rewards for them.
It certainly gets you really reinvigorated and excited again about your Sonos system, where it's you've come to love it, but it's part of your life. But all of a sudden now it's got these new trick features, and it still amazes me to this day just to be able to throw out a name of an artist and an album and say play this, and voila, it just plays. And
what voice controls added to in our home specifically, and I see my son, who's only 7-year-old, who doesn't have a tablet, smartphone. He doesn't have access to the app, but he's able to interact with the music system now through voice, and it's great to see him, discovering music and tracks I listened to as a child. He's listening to them as well. So great fun. Music just makes it home, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, if I could add, I think, and I'd be curious what your guys' thoughts, but I don't think the average consumer understands how big of a deal this voice thing is going to be, and how much this is going to change our world in the next 3 to 5 years, and how big this will play. I mean, some people, you hear it, some people think it's a novelty or it's a gimmick or it's a trick, and yeah, it's cute, but they don't understand that this is what's going to control all of our household devices and our lighting and our thermostats and be a very integral part of our lives.
I don't think integrators understand where we're at and where we're going. And one of the dealers, he commented on an Instagram post. He said, the app, he doesn't like the app, in so many words.
Sure.
And I spoke to him offline. I said, why is that? Why don't you like the new app? Oh, they're just going with Alexa. And that's when I knew that this guy had no idea what he was talking about. Like, this is just a fad. And it's like, are you kidding me, man? Like, how are you going to educate your clients or even be ahead of the curve in 3 months? And you're not even in the voice game.
I remember going out to clients' houses and they were asking me, can we control my house with an iPad? And I thought that was a fad. Oh my gosh, was I wrong?
Yeah, you were really wrong in that one.
Oh
Right?
man, was I wrong? And again, as my arm was twisted into it and forced into it, did I realize how awesome that it was to access in a different way. But it just added so much to my portfolio and access to content and control for our clients. It really allowed me to expand my business without even really seeing that availability there. I think voice is going to do the same thing.
You look at what the added value. Now you've got an amazing speaker already, and you put that on top of it, something that can order you dog food and tell you what's on your calendar tomorrow and stuff like that. It's now becoming a more and more important part of our life as we use it in different ways.
We've had discussions on the show, whereas even us as technicians or whatever you want to call us, smart home people, we get hung up on old technology. It's hard to transfer into the new. And going back to what you were saying, this voice thing, there's an article on the internet. It's called A Horse Tried and True. And they talk about how they wanted to make the car illegal. It was dangerous. The fumes were dangerous. And then I was talking to Chris Gamble. I says, I bet you when they first started with this car, they probably took a horse saddle and put it in the car because they couldn't think of any other way to sit in the car. And they're so used to having a saddle. It just, as we transfer, and I think that's the way the smart home is now. We're kind of clunky. I mean, you guys got your part figured out, but there's a lot of other things that need to be done.
Yeah.
But we really rebuke technology when it comes out.
No, you're right. And I think there's a lot of reasons for that, and we're all at different stages. We're probably early adopters. We grab it right away and say, let's try it out, right? And others wait for others to figure it out for us. And and sometimes I feel like we get paralyzed by the options out there. There's too many options and they're too confusing. And now once they take too much time to figure it out, then it just really becomes overwhelming to people.
And that statement is why we started this show, because even as the guys out in the field doing this work, it's too fast for us to keep going, or not keep going, but keep up. So the homeowner, like a ball in a spray paint can, bing, 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 bing. You start saying certain things and they just can't. So we figured we'd start the show up, and especially Chris in the UK, Bruno in Paris, JJ in Houston, really covering a national base. Now having you on the show is absolutely incredible. It's appreciated.
Well, I appreciate that. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, please.
Chris, we're running up against our time a little bit here. Time's just flown by. We've covered a lot of topics, but just to close out, could you point our listeners in the right place where to get more information about the products, where to catch up with all the news from Sonos, and and if people want to get in touch with you, is there any method as well?
Sure. The best method to research more about Sonos is Sonos.com, where not only do we have our products, but we also have our blog post to talk about different things that we're doing and working on in the industry. That's probably the best place to find it. As far as getting a hold of myself, I'm probably not the person you want to contact, so I would still direct them to Sonos.com or our customer care team if there's more specific there.
Get with us and we'll get you to Chris. All right?
Sounds good.
We're going to be the gatekeepers.
That would be wonderful.
No way. We're going to put a moat with a door and everything.
For text.
For homeowners that are looking for a professional install of Sonos, is there a route for people to find authorized installers and dealers?
Yeah, again, if you go to our page where you can purchase the product, there is an area there that you can ask for assistance or ask to be put in contact with the local installer.
Great, great. Well, Chris, from myself over in the UK, big fan of Sonos. We get great service from the guys here in the UK, Sonos members of staff. And on my list, I was going to do it before Christmas, but I'm still trying to get down to the Sonos store in London.
Chris, it was an absolute pleasure for us to be able to get to meet you and you come on board and talk about the experience that you've had with Sonos and also being able to see the experiences that y'all have been able to create in people's homes. And that's what we're really about, is creating positive experiences that can really improve people's lives on a day-to-day basis. So thanks for coming on board and sharing with us today.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate the support of the brand, guys. It's great to hear such passionate Sonos fans out there, and love to hear that.
It works.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Ciao.
Right. Thanks, Chris.